Hello!
Hey everyone, what's going on?
From Living on a Dime to Grow Rich, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook, and today I'm talking about 5 ways you can save on your grocery bill. So, one of the ways that I spend for 6 people, 5 now, is $400 a month. That's actually gone down just a little bit since one of the people have left our home. Our oldest son has moved out on his own.
Oh, right.
But we totally forgot what I was talking about. Okay, here we go.
How do you...
5 ways to save on your grocery bill.
Sorry. I don't know how to deal with anything.
Okay. Just a second.
All right.
Okay, I think we need to have a prayer meeting.
Dear Jesus!
Actually, if you could have seen Tara before the show, poor thing.
Okay. Just a second, guys. I'm trying to get the trolls here. Okay, I think...
we do not have snow yet. Tomorrow, though.
I think I got
probably will.
Okay, so 5 ways to save on your grocery bill. The first way I save on my grocery bill is I always look at the ads. So pretty much I look at the first page of my grocery ad and I always buy from that first page. It's very rarely I look at any more of the grocery ad except for the first page because that's where the loss leaders are. And loss leaders are where the grocery stores put certain items on sale to get you in the store so that you'll buy those items, but then you'll buy 50 other things also while you're there. Now, I try to just stay on the loss leaders and the sale items. So I try to use the ads and only buy things on sale. What do? I try to buy fruits and vegetables that are only $1 a pound. I try to buy meat that is $3 a pound or less, usually $2 a pound or less. Like boneless, skinless chicken breasts, I don't pay more than $1.99.
Tell everyone to close their eyes and pretend like you're podcasting.
Close your eyes and pretend like I'm podcasting. I think I got the troll. And then, then,
You still struggling?
yeah. So, let me think. What was I talking about? Okay. So I try to only get things that are on sale. So like $1.99 for chicken, $1.99 a pound. For boneless, skinless chicken, $1.99 for hamburger, 49 cents for thighs and drumsticks or quarters for chicken, 99 cents a pound for pork. Those are the prices I usually pay with the ads, okay? The next thing I do is, tip number 2 is I shop clearance items. Now, I showed my clearance chicken quarters that I got the other day for 49 cents a pound. And they're on the table, Dave. And I put a thing on Instagram and Facebook. So if you guys want to see my good deals and my grocery deals, go to Facebook or Instagram. Living on a Dime, that's us. I had one comment that said, well, that's really gross. That's like eating food in Mexico and it's going to make you sick. No, it's not. Just because it's the sell-by date does not mean it's the going bad date, okay? Sell-by means the store has to use it before that date. They can't sell it after that date because there is still 3 to 4 days later for meat that it is good at home for you to use. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so when you see meat on clearance, Mike got eggs on clearance today, it doesn't mean that it's going bad. It just means that you need to either freeze it or cook it within the next day or 2, 3 days when you get home, okay? Usually when I find something really good, like I got 99-cent hamburger in May, I just bring it home and just throw the whole thing in the freezer, okay? So, clearance items does not mean it is bad food. They cannot sell you bad food. And I think that's an old wives' tale from back in the old days when butchers... Would you like to just take the whole tray, Dave?
Yeah. I'm stealing all these cookies. Bye.
Jack cookies before Dave eats them all.
What?
There's chicken nuggets in the air fryer too.
Gotcha. Continue.
And so I think that comes from the old days where butchers would try to pass off bad meat. And they can't do that anymore, okay? Number 3, use what you have on hand. Most people are planning their meals and grocery shopping wrong. And I'm going to actually do a full-length video on this. But don't sit down and plan out your menus and then go to the grocery store. Look and see what you have in your refrigerator, your refrigerator, your freezer, and your pantry that you can use to make meals first. This month, for the month of September, I spent about $50 on groceries for our family of 5. Well, no, 6. 5? No, 5. I don't remember when BJ moved out. Anyway, 5. We'll just say 5. And I spent about $50 last month on groceries. Why? Because I was using everything that I had on hand. And all I need to buy was milk and eggs and some fresh produce. And so use what you have on hand first. Go and look what you need to use up, make the menu, and then go to the grocery store. And guys, even in Dining on a Dime, right here we have a whole section on menus using the recipes in these books. And that's a great way to give you some ideas so that you don't have to use what limited brain power you have left after being sucked out from a long day.
I was really surprised that she was able to do a show after seeing her 2 hours ago.
Actually, 2 hours ago, I was this close to canceling the show, I'll be honest. So anyway, use what you have. Number 4. Don't make homemade foods. It's not necessarily cheaper. Now, Dining on a Dime again, right here. We have how to make a homemade cake, white, yellow chocolate, hot fudge, brownies. We have how to make taco seasoning. We have how to make ranch dressing. We have how to make your own bread. We have everything in here, okay? But there are times, like Halloween is a really good time. November 1st or the first week of November, they mark all their Halloween stuff down. And they'll have cake mixes that are like 30 cents. Now, they're Halloween themed, but half the time, the sprinkles come separate from the cake mix. So I just take out the sprinkles and just use the cake mix. If they happen to be 39 cents and the sprinkles are in it, oh well, so we have black and orange cupcakes. I mean, big whoop-de-ding, who cares? So, homemade is not necessarily cheaper. Another example would be making homemade bread. I can get a loaf of bread on clearance for about 50 cents. It costs me about 50 cents to make homemade bread. Now, is it a lot tastier? Yes, it is. But it's also a lot more work. So I don't make homemade bread to save me money. Now, on the flip side of that, tip number 5 is make your food homemade and you'll save money. Now, I know that's a contradiction in what I just said. But sometimes homemade is a lot cheaper. Now, ranch dressing is one where it tastes a whole lot better homemade. But by the time you buy the sour cream or the buttermilk, mayonnaise, that kind of thing, it's cheaper to get ranch dressing for 99 cents at the store. So if your family goes through a ton of ranch dressing, then I would get it when it's just salad dressing that's 99 cents on sale at the store. The same with barbecue sauce. I mean, I can buy the liquid smoke and all that, and the homemade barbecue sauce in here is delicious for the barbecued meatballs. It's my grandma's recipe. One of her best recipes. Well, all of her recipes are good, but anyway, but it's not always necessarily cheaper to make homemade. So pick your battles in homemade. In Dining on a Dime, we have all the homemade so that if you run out of something, like if we run out of ranch dressing and I have the ingredients, I'll just make it homemade. Barbecue sauce, the same thing. Bread, the same thing. But I pick and choose which things are homemade. So sometimes it's cheaper to buy it already prepackaged. Like cake mixes are a great example. That's probably my biggest thing is the cake mixes.
It looks like the sink came back.
Yay.
Well, I turned on the fan.
The computer woke up and came to life.
I turned off and turned on the fan. I'm not sure though. It still looks jittery on this screen, so I don't know.
Okay.
It's smooth or not.
So, Diane, how do you make ranch dressing? Well, let me just tell you how to make ranch dressing.
It's sour cream. I want to say sour cream. I don't know the other thing.
Mayonnaise.
Sour
Buttermilk.
Cream, yeah.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise, and then also other herbs.
Yep,
like
and herbs and spices. Yep.
garlic
So if you're making ranch dip, you use sour cream, onion flakes, oregano, onion powder, parsley, garlic powder, paprika, cayenne pepper, salt and pepper. It's super easy. It's like literally a 1-minute recipe. If you're making ranch dressing, like salad dressing, just use buttermilk and mayonnaise instead. And if you're making dip, you can use yogurt instead of sour cream.
Since you're talking about the book, Lisa asked, are all of the recipes in your cookbook freezable? I said not all of them, but many of them are.
No, a lot of them are. I mean, I freeze a huge portion.
Out of the main dish recipes,
Yeah.
most of them, right?
Most of them. I would say probably 90% of the main dishes are. Maybe,
Not very many salads.
Yeah, I wouldn't freeze the salads.
Not very many salads.
We are actually in the process of working on writing a freezer cookbook and a 20-minute meal cookbook. And another Dining on a Dime cookbook. A more Dining on a Dime. Actually, we were working on that yesterday. Our brains were sucked out of our heads. Or was it Monday? Whatever day. Monday or Tuesday. But I was getting really excited because I was like, man, these are some darn tootin' good recipes.
Mm-hmm. You know
I was getting excited to start trying some of these recipes on the show.
She was getting really excited. Well, it's funny because we were doing corrections in the new book, and we were both kind of like, but I could see her kind of light up as she was going through it, getting excited about that new one. So, yay.
Cheeseburger rolls.
Dave's favorite
Pizza
cheeseburger rolls.
Cheeseburger pizza
So
rolls.
I'm excited about the next Dining on a Dime cookbook we're working on. So, the cashier at the grocery store today looked at all the food I bought and said, wow, that's a lot of food for $85. You guys get the credit. Oh, Daffodil, thank you. Somebody's listening. I'm not just talking to cyber air.
Are the recipes comfort foods at all? Almost all of them are, actually. She says a lot of the cookbooks have recipes I never eat. Almost all of them are like grandma's comfort food. In fact, the original book title had 50 years of frugal family favorites in it because it has all these recipes from Tara's various grandmothers and great aunts. And
So I have recipes from me, my daughter, my mom, my grandma, my great-grandma, my other great-grandma, my other grandma, and my mom. So 8 family members to several great-grandmas. No, 9. 9 family, and my other great-grandma. So here's some of the recipes. We've got oatmeal muffins. We've got cinnamon muffins. How to make homemade syrup. How to make bread. How to make dinner rolled 90-minute rolls. We've got sopapillas, flour tortillas. We've got crepes, garlic cheese biscuits like Red Lobster, and these are the bomb. They make Red Lobsters taste horrible because these are so wonderful. We've got coffee cake. We've got onion soup mix. We've got turkey, how to make a turkey soup, how to make a turkey and how to make turkey soup, how to make potatoes, scallop potatoes, how to make rice, pasta, Spanish rice. We've got potato salad, coleslaw, chicken pot pie, Mexican chicken, maple glazed chicken, stir fry. All those really good, yummy recipes. Okay, so those are my 5 tips. Use the ad, buy on clearance, use what you have, don't make everything homemade, and make stuff homemade, which I know is a contradiction, but you guys get it. So, let's get to questions because...
Well, Debbie asks, she just says new recipes to come in the new cookbook.
Yes.
The new cookbook is all new recipes, right?
Yeah.
So
the dining on a dime, the more dining on a dime, I think is what we're going to call it. That's coming out hopefully in a couple of months. Is all brand new recipes. All brand new recipes.
That needs to be the subtitle.
And in the midst of that, we discovered that it was way too many pages of what we had, and so Tara ended up breaking some out and saying, "Let's go ahead and do a freezer book, and let's do a."
Yeah.
So we have that one, the Dining on a Dime 2, which is significantly put together now.
Yeah.
And then about 3 or 4 other books that are already begun because we had too much in dining.
Yeah.
More dining
So
on a
what
dime.
happened was, okay, so with this whole printer issue, you guys have been hearing our printer issue. If you're new, in February we are self-published, and so that means we pay for all of our book printings and everything. Okay, we don't have a publisher. We are the
buy
publisher.
all the books ahead of time before we sell them.
We spend the $15,000 to get an order of books, or $25,000 to get an order of books, however many books we're ordering at that time. So, so what we have learned in the almost 9 months since we've been dealing with this printer issue is that our Dining on a Dime cookbook is actually too big for this kind of binding. So we are trying to figure out different bindings. So with the new cookbooks, we cannot have them any bigger than 500 pages. This one is almost 600 pages. It's 584 pages. The next edition that comes out is going to be over 600 pages of this one because we changed a couple of things. But the new books are going to have to be 500 pages or less. So when I went in and we were working on the new book Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was, we had to cut several recipes out of it. And so because of that, we're going to be doing a 20-minute cookbook and a freezer cookbook, gluten-free cookbook, dairy-free, and something else. What was the other one I was doing? I can't remember. Oh well, something like that. So,
A thing.
anyway, you are not hammering the computer.
We need a behind-the-scenes camera.
The hammer down.
I can make it work. I can make it work. That's how I think. It was in, and then it went out again. So, yeah, Sky says, I love the cookbooks that lay flat. And that's an issue. That's been the major issue is some people have said in the past, I don't care if it lays flat, but what we found is if we made one that, based on our past experiences, if we made one that didn't lay flat, nobody would get it.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be worth this.
So our printing issue is that we want it to make sure that it lays flat, but our book is too big for a spiral binding like this. And so that is part of the issue. Now, I will say we had a glimmer of hope this morning.
Yeah?
Hopefully we have samples coming from printers, and we have a glimmer of hope. So anyway, they will be print books. We are going to do print books.
So Linda is asking, you probably said this already, but can we donate recipes for your new cookbook?
You can, and actually I had thought about doing a cookbook that was just reader recipes. I thought that would be kind of cool to have all of you guys send in your recipes. What do you guys think about that? I had really thought about doing a reader recipe cookbook.
And then Debbie asks, will they all be paper copies or ebooks? So the cookbooks that we're making now, we intend for them to be print, like physical books like this. We will have ebook versions of all of them as well.
Yeah.
Some of our older books are only ebooks,
Yeah.
just because we don't sell enough of them to justify us spending a huge amount of money up front and storing.
So Jennifer Weber says, I have so many of your books. Even went on eBay and bought Not Just Beans. Now that
is love, Jennifer. And there weren't that many copies of Not Just Beans that were ever made.
So for those of you guys who are wondering, Dining on a Dime cookbook used to be called Not Just Beans. I know, stupid name. I knew nothing about marketing 20 years ago
really
when I wrote it.
Stupid name? It's kind of cute.
It's supposed to be.
Julie, would you consider including several blank pages in the back of your new book so I can make a list of my favorite recipes?
Yes.
Yes.
And we have those in there. We have a few of those in there. Yeah. Oh, and I actually had thought about doing a copycat. That was one thing where we were having an issue on Monday. Was I have several copycat recipes in the next new Dining on a Dime, the More Dining on a Dime cookbook. And so I was trying to decide if I should leave them in there or if I should just make a copycat book. And so I don't know. I was trying to do.
A lot of people loving on the idea of a reader recipe book.
Really?
Yep.
So what? Okay, so here's the thing. Since we're talking about it. Now, I'm telling you, this will probably be a year before I can get to it.
Because we're looking at a lot of books at the moment.
Because I really want to crank out these other books first. But if you guys have a reader recipe you want to send me, and put your mailing address in there so that if your email changes, I can just contact you that way. But send in a recipe and just say reader favorite recipe. But here's the thing, guys. We try to make sure all of our recipes, when you eat them, your family says, wow, that was good. So when we're writing a book this size, we will test. There's over 500 recipes in here. But we will probably test 2,000 to 2,500 recipes before we get the wow, that was really good.
So and the ones that aren't wow go in the trash.
So if you guys have a recipe that is wow, everybody loves it or asks for the recipe, send it in and we'll consider it and just put reader recipe and maybe reader recipe in the title in your subject. And just send it to editor@livingonadime.com or go to livingonadime.com and click on our contact page. Mike and I are also working on a book about budgeting and getting out of debt. And so we have several things going on. But hey.
We have a big plan, but it's not together yet.
Yeah, so we're working on that. So we have like 4 books that we really want to get out first. But if you got to read a recipe, I'll put Heidi and Janelle on starting to test those recipes, and we could do that. So
well, and one thing, sometimes with the books, something will come up, and Tara will think, "Wow, we really need to get this one out quick." And then sometimes that shifts the focus. We really want to get Dining on a Dime 2 out for sure first because people have asked for it for a long time.
Yeah. Well, and I've been working on it for 20 years, so I'm like, I'm ready to have this book done.
So Shannon asks, I have a Kohl's card I just paid off. Does it look bad or better if I close the card down on my credit? My friend said keep it open, but I heard that it's bad to keep them open from stores if you don't use them.
Here's the thing.
If you close 15 credit cards at once, that's really bad.
Yeah.
But what would you say?
But if you're just closing one, no, it's not a big deal.
Plus, well, a couple things I would say. If you're closing one, it shouldn't have a major impact. And if it does, it's probably a short-term impact. But if you're, I know you've been around for a long time, Shannon, and if you're kind of really trying to follow what we're saying, credit rating is mostly good for borrowing money, which we advise everyone not to do. So if you're thinking about buying a house in the near future, that would be the main consideration. We encourage everyone not to get car loans and not to get credit card debt, not to get any of that. So if you're not in a situation of trying to find more debt for something, then it's not really that big a deal for you to close one. And even if it bumps your credit in a weird direction for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But if you're concerned about your credit rating, I would say mainly I wouldn't probably close 15 of them at once. If you have a bunch of credit cards, I wouldn't close all of them at once. Because if you do that, it kind of freaks out the system.
Yeah.
But one every now and then is probably not a really big deal.
Yeah. Darlene, will you ever do soap making again? I miss watching and buying. Thank you. I am probably not going to do soap making while we're in this house. We just do not have the space. It's too much for me right now. And my energy can be spent on writing other cookbooks instead of doing soap. I know it's going to be hard, but it's supposed to snow tonight, so can you go do it, please? Poor Jack's got to go mow.
Well,
But there's a storm coming in our yard. It's kind of long. If we don't get it, the snow's going to make a big mess.
The snow just kill it?
Yeah, but it's going to be really long. And so, anyway,
Which one am I mowing, Mom?
well, okay, let's see. This side.
So anyway, let's see.
Oh, and by the way, Mary, thank you so much for the tea. I got it. That was so... Mary sent me some calming tea.
Which
oh,
Mary?
I saw that.
She thought I needed some calming tea.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, my friend Jamie, with all her problems here, she got me this mug for my birthday. It says, life is all about how you handle Plan B. And let me read you the poem because it's pretty funny while Mike's grabbing comments and questions here real quick. Plan B. Plan A is always my first choice. You know, the one where everything works out to be happily ever after. But more often than not, I find myself dealing with the upside down, inside out version where nothing goes as it should. It's at this point the real test of my character comes in. Do I sink or do I swim? Do I wallow in self-pity and play the victim, or simply shift gears and make the best of the situation? The choice is mine, after all. Life is about how you handle Plan B.
I think that's the last time.
I know, I just have to do it again. So I thought that was pretty cute. Thank you, Jamie. I really needed that today.
Diana, I keep trying to order the cookbook. It won't let me. If you're trying to order the marked down one, it may have sold out while we were in the show.
Yep.
If it won't let you add to the cart, if it's the marked down one, that may be the issue because we were really close to running out of them just before the show started.
Yeah.
But we'll check it after the show and see
Yeah.
to be sure.
We have like, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack is getting taller. Yes. Yes,
Yep,
he is.
Okay, any other questions? Yeah, the $15 one, it may be sold out if you didn't do that. Oh, by the way, guys, I had someone who wanted to order some of my goat milk cream. So I went ahead and told her I would because she wanted a fairly significant order of it. I have some left. If you guys want any of my goat milk cream, I only have these 2 scents. Unscented and cucumber melon. You can email me, editor@livingonadime.com. First come, first serve, okay? I've only got about 20 jars. It's 8 ounces for $20. And then I have a few...
Bless you.
Excuse me.
God
A
bless.
few 4 ounces for $11, plus shipping.
Oh, Torres says we have snow in the mountains that we drove over and
Wow.
at the little store. Oh, so that one spot where I said this looks like Allen's Park. She's saying that they
Yeah.
had a bunch of snow there in Norway where we were visiting them over the summer.
If it snows, sure, we'll show you guys pictures.
So, as far as the soap shows, Tara really likes doing soap. It's just that the
It was
amount
just
of
too physically
activity
hard,
was just
yeah.
making her physically ill all the time. And it's just because of her chronic fatigue syndrome. For the shows, she can be in really bad shape and kind of try to spruce herself up for the 1 hour that she's on. But with the soap, it required doing a lot more stuff behind the scenes.
The setup.
Which is just way too much
Yeah,
for
the
her.
setup, the tear down, the cleanup was just too much.
So
for
she
me.
loves it. She just can't really pull
Yeah.
it off. So let's see. Slate is dead. We're working on paying off our house. We have a lot of pressure to invest, i.e. stock market or real estate. Any suggestions? Well, we're unfortunately not experts in that at this point. What I would say is sometimes it's a great time to invest in real estate and sometimes it's a great time to invest in stocks. And
Right
sometimes it's a
now,
great time to invest
really.
in something else. And I don't know which thing is the best thing to invest in right now.
But right now, real
Houses.
estate prices are pretty high, so I would wait in the next few years. They'll probably start going down again because they do every 10 years, and it's already been 12 years. So.
And I don't know if that's everywhere, but in Colorado for sure, we're kind of pretty high on it.
Yeah.
But I would probably try to find an advisor.
Yeah. But here's the thing on investing versus paying off your house. If you pay off your house, that is that much more money you do not have to invest because you don't have a house payment. So like for Mike and I, we calculated we will save $1 million in house payments between now and if we stay in a house until we're 90. And so that's $1 million that we don't have to save or invest for retirement. So for us, I really think paying off your house should be a priority. I mean, you don't know when somebody's going to get disabled or hurt, and then if your house is paid off, you don't have to worry about it.
Plus, if you have investments most investments have to have some level of risk in order to make any money, and a lot of the investments that people have their money in are more likely to go away just out of the blue than your house would go away if it was paid off.
What is my favorite dessert to make? Kristen wants to know. Oh, have mercy. You know, the chocolate oatmeal cookies we made today is at the top. I love desserts in general. Cinnamon rolls. I love blueberry pie.
Are cheeseburger rolls a dessert?
They're
or
not
are
a
they
dessert, Dave.
Or are they
No, they may be a
main
dessert in your life, Dave. They may be a dessert, but
or are they a main course?
they're a main course.
All right.
Italian cream cake is another good one. Pumpkin roll is another. Oh, I love the pumpkin roll. Ooh, that's a really good one. Mom's sugar cookies on page 363. Those are really good. Those are the ones that I have a hard time resisting when I make them. So, are we getting snow already? No, but the wind and the temperature has just dropped. It was 80 today, and Jack just had to get a sweater to mow. We have one last mowing, I think, and we need to do it before the snow because then we have grass issues. So
We have snow tomorrow.
Something I was gonna say.
We don't have snow yet.
There were some people asking about the books covers, and I don't even know what heat binding is. Have we?
I've
looked
never
at that?
heard it heat biting
We
me.
might search that really quick. We've looked
Yeah.
at many binding options with many
Yeah.
printers, and that's been the biggest issue.
Okay, we're not saying anything about what's going to happen with dining on a dime yet because we have been working on this since we got back from the trip.
The
Literally
original dining on that? Yeah.
literally every day. Literally every day. We have had things that we have been, like major things we have been having to work with. And so, we're not saying what's going to happen with it. We have plans for it, but we're not saying anything until we can figure out if we can get this to work. So we had even considered, because it was so big, breaking it into volume 1 and volume 2, but I really don't want to break it into volume 1 and volume 2. So we're trying to get it all in there.
So Susan wants to know, do we like the snow?
I love snow.
I like snow if we can sit inside and look out at it where we don't have a whole lot that we have to do and the fireplace is going.
We don't have a fireplace.
I know, but we've been in places like that. Well, okay.
So here's
That's
what I
my-
want for Christmas.
But I don't like snow when we have to get out in it.
Is it wrong to ask for an electric fireplace for Christmas from your husband? Is that unromantic? I miss our fireplace so much. And I found a fireplace on Amazon for like $200. So I thought for our anniversary and Christmas combined and birthday and Mother's Day, you could get me a fireplace for Christmas.
Yep.
Would
I
that
tried
be
to get you one
wonderful?
last year, but you didn't want
It's
the one
actually,
that
Well, I
actually
know,
not
but-
that expensive. It's only
No.
like $300.
Well, I
think.
want to get rid of our piano. We have a piano. Anybody know how to get rid of a piano? So we have this piano that my parents made. My parents, in case you didn't know,
You want me to
made
piano?
player pianos.
Oh.
So my parents made this piano, and okay, that's probably good. And it's a player piano, but it's a small piano. And I have it on Facebook Marketplace for $100 and nobody wants it. Well, dump day is a week from this Saturday. And I don't really want to throw it in the dump, but we really don't want it anymore. Nobody plays it. And even though it kind of has memories for me,
We found it's almost impossible to sell them.
it's impossible to get rid of
And
them.
actually, there was one time where I think we tried to sell it, and nobody really wanted it. And then somebody asked us, "Hey, could you give me a deal on it? Because we want to blow it up in a music video." We're like, not sure we quite don't really want to know that.
Yeah, we had one guy who was going to blow it up in a music video. We were like, well, I don't know, but I guess if I'm going to throw it in the dump, but I've had it on Facebook Marketplace for like 3 weeks now.
Oh,
and
Mary
no
says
takers.
donate to a school. I didn't think about it.
I don't think they would take it.
They probably have. Yeah.
My thinking is if it had to go, it should have gone in a boom.
It should have gone in a boom.
A lot of people voting yes for the fireplace.
Well, see, here's what I want to do. I want to get rid of the piano and put a fireplace there instead. One of those electric fireplaces. I love fireplaces, and in our next home, that's going to be a requirement,
So
even if we put it in.
I'm not sure if we've ever mentioned this before on any of the shows, but when I met Tara, was your second apartment after I knew you, where you had she had this big fireplace that was like an art project.
Yeah.
That was in the room.
I had a fake fireplace, yep.
It was pretty funny.
A music store that sells used pianos. Well, I could try that maybe. Yeah.
Wow, senior center, nursing home.
I don't-
If we were going to give it to someplace like that, it needs a little bit of
Yeah.
work.
It
The
needs to
truth
be
is-
tuned, and the player part needs to be fixed, but
Yeah, the truth is, like, if BJ had time, he could probably fix it. If I had time, I could probably fix it. But the thing is, it's not in. I mean, it can be played, but the player part isn't
Needs to
in
be
its
worked.
in the condition to go at this moment.
yeah. And when my
But
dad
the
was here
turnkey-
last time, he got it going for a little bit, and then I think one of the valve blocks blew on it, and so you need somebody who knows what they're doing. But I probably won't see my dad again for a while, so won't have him to fix it. But
Keep it. You know what? If it were easy to just haul it down to the basement, it would be so much
Actually-
easier to keep it.
yeah, there's a part of me that's like, I want to fix the player part because I like the player part of it. I don't know
I think
what
when
to
enough
do.
kids move out and Mike's like, oh no, now what do I do? I could probably figure it out.
But yeah, okay. So everybody
She's like, yeah,
agrees
no.
that they love their electric fireplace. So I'm gonna get one for Christmas, right?
Yeah, there was one that I saw. Miss Justice is asking where we are.
In
We're
Colorado.
north of Longmont, Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, Dad and I are going to go to the library.
Cost of electricity. So the electric fireplace it uses about as, I think it's, well, if there's a heat element and a visual element. The visual element's like a light is all
Yeah.
the amount of power it uses. So it's very little. The heat part would probably use similar to a space heater, I imagine. We actually looked at a couple last year, but I think they were smaller than we thought.
Yeah, I
And I
wanted not a huge one, but something that either is a TV stand where we could. I really want one that's a TV stand that we could put our TV on. That's what I really want. But
Don't know if I'm saying your name right, if it's Michael or Michael O'Brien, but actually we have two kids that know how to play the piano. It's just Dave is one of them, and he ended up getting himself a really fancy keyboard that he can play the music into the computer, but it actually sounds like a real piano, not like just a keyboard.
And you can change
So-
everything on it.
He likes that, but it also takes up a much smaller amount of space. That's been the main issue is we'd like to keep it, we just don't want to keep it this big.
yeah,
So if Dr. what's his name from Ant-Man has a little thing that we can shrink it down and set it on
No,
that would
or
be brilliant.
Jennifer, or anybody who's in the Front Range of Colorado, if you guys know of anybody getting rid of an electric fireplace, I'm looking on Marketplace for one. I really don't want to spend more than $100 on it, but I found one for $200 on Amazon that might work.
Rebecca
So-
says pianoadoption.com.
Oh,
gift it to your one of assistants, I'm not sure that they would find it to be,
Yeah.
A gift.
partly because we would have to send it to Minnesota from here.
Yes, I love a real fireplace too. The problem is we don't want to put one in this house if we're looking for a new house. So,
Jill should know how to fix the piano. She knows some of it.
well,
But-
she doesn't know how to repair them. She just knows how to build the parts for them,
Yeah.
which is different.
So,
So, Mom would help build the parts, and my dad actually assembled the pianos. So,
yeah, so
yeah. But anyway, so guys, if you got any last questions, throw them in there. We're gonna do a giveaway real quick. Okay.
what we are?
So, I have How to Make Soap for Beginners. This is a printed version of my ebook, of my e-course on how to make soap for beginners.
Did you say that?
Oh, hold on a second. For those that they're saying, get the fireplace, or maybe there's a special occasion coming up. I'm totally on board with that. The main issue is just Tara doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he would get me one. It's just finding. I
I was going to
one-
get her one last year. She just didn't want any of the options that we could find.
Yeah. Well, what
So-
happened was last year, it was towards the end of the season, and they didn't have any of the really nice ones left. That I want something that I could kind of maybe hang the stockings on or something. Maybe just if we're gonna do it up fake and big, then do it. So, yeah. But I found one on Amazon that has really good reviews. I saw one at Home Depot, but I didn't like the flame on it. The flame was kind of hokey. So anyway, okay.
Oh, if you had a real fireplace, who would chop the wood?
You know,
I'd be
we've already
down.
decided that if we're gonna do the wood, when we were looking at houses in Wisconsin, we were like, we'll buy firewood. Mike's chopped tons and tons of firewood.
I've chopped lots and
Tons
lots of
and tons.
firewood over the years.
So he's good with chopping, but he's gonna be 50 in 2 months.
Hey. I'm younger than I've ever been. Okay, no, maybe not.
No, you're younger than you ever will be.
What? Oh, that's the way it goes?
Yes.
I see.
All right.
Actually, I'm kind of surprised because I've known other people who were like guys who weren't chronically ill or anything who were talking about how horrible life was at 30, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm like almost 50 and I feel younger than that. So,
That killed
Anyway.
you? Was it freezing cold and wind blowing?
Oh, my head.
Your head's hurting?
oh, lots of people saying soap book.
You made it.
Wait,
Okay.
is this on?
So I'll do 2 soap books. I got 4 left. No, I have 3 left. Okay, you guys ready? I'll do one on YouTube and one on Facebook. Type in soap.
I'm going to do Facebook first because more people have said
Okay.
it on Facebook.
So type in soap if you want to win my soap book. It's got the recipes and the tips on how to make soap and all of that good stuff. See right here.
Woohoo!
How to make soap for $5. How to make hot process soap. It's all in here. This is actually a really good course. If you guys want a soap course on how to make soap, this is actually really good. And this is kind of making me sad because I really like making soap. I miss
Well,
making
you need
soap.
to make it when you're not in the middle of some other project and you have time, and life has been really, really quiet for a little while.
How long is a little while? Does life have to be quiet?
A few
We need a time.
years,
Years, David. Years.
maybe a few
Okay.
decades.
Do we have
I
people?
think Mom needs 30 days without an idea,
Yeah.
and then you can do so.
I close my eyes.
I'm not saying that because I'm being a dork. I'm saying that because Tara doesn't know her limitations when
No.
she's not feeling well, and
I
she'll
know.
not be feeling well, and then she'll get a huge idea that becomes a really big project, and
A really big mess, and I really regret it.
Unfortunately-
I know.
Well, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a. What I'm saying is sometimes
I
a little
know.
stand down is okay.
But see, I can't stand down because I don't have my electric fireplace.
I told her that in the future when she's old and like, I told her that in the future when she's really old and kind of losing her memory, if she says, "Oh, I have a big idea," that I then call Dave at his company and say, hey, Dave, have one of your guys use some CG and create an image of the idea that's done. So we could say, oh, look what you did.
I have another idea. All right. Did anybody want the soap book?
Yeah. Did you say when she doesn't have a project as if? Yes, I totally agree, Carrie.
I'm telling you, I am in the middle of a project and I have 15 more lined up. I just cannot stop.
Ooh, yeah,
Okay.
you're all over it for soap
All right,
now.
you ready? Stop. Who did you land on? Karen Conroy. Karen. Woohoo, Karen.
Woohoo.
All right, Karen, send me your address again to make sure that I have it, please. Oh, okay. So that was Facebook. So now we'll do YouTube.
Whoa,
Okay.
tons and tons of
Okay, you
people
ready?
looking for soap. All right.
Okay, go. Stop. Slay this debt.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Yay!
Okay, so both of you guys email me editor@livingonadime.com or click the contact at livingonadime.com, editor@livingonadime.com. Your name. I need a name. Your
Actually,
address.
it's funny 'cause-
I need an address.
Well, it's funny because I know Slay This Debt, you've been around for a long time, but I can't say I know what your
I don't know
actual
what your
name
name
is.
And that you won the soap book. We keep having people that have won and they don't give me their name or they don't give me their address. So tell me your name and your address and that you won a soap book and do that. So
Yay.
we are doing giveaways. This is our 20th anniversary month.
What?
From when the first edition of Dining on a Dime, which was called Not Just Beans back then, came out. I actually wrote a letter to Amy Decision today to see if she would do an interview with me.
You
I don't
shouldn't
know
say
if she
unless
will.
you hear an answer.
But you got to think big.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know if she will or not, but she was what inspired me to write Dining on a Dime because her readers kept asking her to write a cookbook and she didn't want to. And I thought, well, I could do that. So while I was on bed rest with my first pregnancy,
That was the first big idea. But it turned into something good, so there you go.
But here's the thing. Even on bed rest while pregnant, I wasn't just sitting on my duff doing nothing watching soap operas.
Ooh.
I
Watching
decided
gardening
to
shows.
write a book. So don't let your limitations stop you from doing things, guys.
So what would happen is she would watch gardening shows, and then when suddenly she would perk up just a little, it would be like, oh, I have an idea. And then she would push through until she was totally dead on the couch again.
Jeannie
And
wants
then it was
to know.
gardening shows again.
So Jeannie wants to know, your mind is always so busy. How do you get to sleep at night? Some nights I don't, actually. Some nights my mind is just like, from The Greatest Showman, I close my eyes and I can see the world that's staring
Waiting
back,
up for or is it?
staring back at me. Is that what it is? I don't know. A world I call my own.
It's funny because, is there a Women's Day article? I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, when is the Women's Day? I didn't know there was a Women's Day article.
I was trying to remember if that's.
There was one that came out in May, Jonathan. Maybe that's the one you're thinking about. Yeah, I would love it if Amy would do an interview with me because she inspired me to do it. I remember sitting there watching her on Phil Donahue, and everybody was yelling at
Phil
her.
Donahue?
They were nasty to her. They were flat out nasty, and I was like, no, she is right. And I just grew up like that, and it was so refreshing to hear someone go against the grain, which is why I keep pushing you guys, stop doing what everybody else is doing. Why ruin your life like they're ruining their lives? So, yeah. So anyway. What?
Actually, I just heard myself say Donahue from back then. But it's just.
Oh, you're listening to see
I
if
just
we're
have-
still.
I was trying to see how the sync is going for future testing purposes, but it's funny because I saw that part about Donahue, and the main thing I was thinking is if you're under 45, you probably don't know who that is. But he was a pretty big deal back then.
He was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The sink is back.
he was. So Amy Decision, she wrote the Tightwad Gazette. which at the time it was one of like 3 books on saving money. I mean, nobody was talking about saving money or being frugal. And so, yeah, but all right, did we do
You did
Okay.
You did draw 2. Yes.
Okay. All right. Guys, please like, subscribe, and share.
And we're going to go, if you were here for the whole thing, we're going to go back and reevaluate our new equipment thing because it obviously didn't do so well at the beginning of the show.
I think we're all going to go cry first, though. Should we all go cry first?
Let's
No,
all
I'm past
take
that.
Just a huge
I managed to
communal
hold back the hammer and not fix the computer with it.
The hammer.
So that's good. So you can cry and I will comfort you.
I can go cry.
Yes. So,
I can't even cry in my soup because I don't have a kitchen to cook soup in.
no, but now that the show's almost over, we have 4 different flavors of bubble bath that you can go in there and lock
Actually,
yourself
yeah.
in there until you feel better.
See,
So,
you know my love language.
what we
Bubble
need
bath
is
and Alka-Seltzer.
what we need at the new house one day when we get a new house is
A bubble bath
a
room?
nicer tub with lots of bubble bath stockpiles and a little fireplace in the corner.
Yep.
I think you
Yeah.
would like that.
We need another jet tub.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
All
We
right,
sure
guys.
appreciate you being here.
Have a great night.
Have a
Visit
great
us
night.
at livingonadime.com. We're Tara and Mike from Living on a Dime to Grow Rich.
Yes. And we're stumbling over our equipment, but we're getting there. our renovations, right? By the way, it was 86 yesterday, and it's supposed to be 6 degrees tomorrow.
Welcome to Colorado.
Yeah. Bye.